dear brother Pratap Reddy, Assistant General, dear brother P.J. George, Convener, National Education Commission, President, All India Association of Montfort Schools, and Provincial Superior of the Province of Bengaluru. Brother Thomas Tanikal, General Secretary of INAX, all the eminent and distinguished Montfort brothers, the collaborators in education and other areas of service to the poor youth in particular, students, and who are all participating in this 3-day conference. Greetings to all of you from CBCI Office for Education and Culture. I consider it my privilege and honor to address all of you this morning at the inauguration of a 3-day national conference on Montfortian Action for Sustainability. I thank Brother P.J. George for the invitation and for Brother Thomas Tanikal for never giving up on me. One of the 8 Millennium Development Goals proposed by the United Nations for action is to ensure environmental sustainability. In order to ensure environmental sustainability, global political leaders and heads of government have been meeting regularly and proposing ways and means to reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 45% by 2030 compared to 2010 levels, and reach net zero emissions by 2050 to limit warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius as aspired in the Paris Agreement, while at the same time conserving and restoring biodiversity and minimizing pollution and waste. There is hope that COP26, due to take place in Glasgow next month, will make these goals and efforts even more concrete and sustainable. The well-being of today's humanity, especially the youth, depends on an urgent and clear break with current trends of environmental decline. The fact that the environmental situation and crisis is very serious and alarming is unfortunately true. 2 years ago, in September 2019, I had the privilege of meeting Pope Francis in the Vatican during the Archbishop visit of the bishops of India. And as we were allowed to ask him any question, while thanking him for his well-received and timely encyclical Laudato Si on care for our common home, I said to the Holy Father, with glaciers melting, climate changing, global warming, with unusual floods, cyclones and typhoons, even earthquakes, I feel that the end of the world is not very far. I may sound pessimistic. What is your opinion? The Holy Father was very frank, very friendly. Without hesitation, Pope Francis said, "Bishop, you are right. If we together do not do anything now, our planet may perish in 4 years' time." Very alarming indeed, but that seems to be the truth, the bitter truth. Pope Francis' Laudato Si, published on the 24th of May 2015, has been hailed as practical and a prophetic voice, much needed to draw the attention of people to the urgency of action needed to protect our Mother Earth from destruction brought about by human beings. On the occasion of the 5th anniversary of the publication of Laudato Si, a special anniversary year was observed from 24th of May 2020 to 24th of May 2021. It opened with Laudato Si Week 2020 and released 7 goals based on Laudato Si concept of integral ecology with a clear emphasis on ecological conversion in action. These 7 goals are responding to the cry of the earth, responding to the cry of the poor, ecological economics, adoption of simple lifestyles, ecological education, ecological spirituality, and community engagement and participatory action. On the 25th of May 2021, at the close of the Laudato Si special anniversary year, Pope Francis has gifted to the Church and to all people of goodwill the Laudato Si Action Platform, a 7-year journey of ecological conversion in action. We are invited to embark on this journey together, namely with the 7 sectors of families, parishes and dioceses, education institutions, which include schools and universities and others, hospitals and healthcare centers, economy, businesses, cooperatives, farms and others, organizations and groups, ecological communities, movements, NGOs, communication centers, foundations and others, religious orders, communities, provinces and orders. The 7-year journey of this Laudato Si Action Platform is inspired by the integral ecological vision of the encyclical and is guided by the 7 Laudato Si goals. As I said already, cry of the earth, cry of the poor, ecological economics, simple lifestyles, ecological education, ecological spirituality, and community engagement with participatory action. The LSAP envisages an ongoing shared journey with the goal of growing exponentially over the coming years of this crucial decade. The platform hopes to create a people's movement from below to contribute to the critical mass needed for radical social transformation. As Pope Francis reminds us, all of us can cooperate as instruments of God for the care of the earth, each according to his or her own culture, experience, involvement, and talents. Laudato Si 14. Cardinal Peter K.A. Turkson, Prefect of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development in the Vatican, says, on behalf of Pope Francis, I invite you and your communities to join Laudato Si Action Platform. The platform will create a space for the universal church and beyond to respond to the global emergency we are facing. Through it, we can learn and grow together as we take decisive action to build together a future in the spirit of Laudato Si. This is all the more urgent given the latest IPCC report in August 2021, which issued a code red warning for all humanity. At the Asian continental level, the Federation of Asian Bishops' Conferences has established an office for ecology that initiates and promotes efforts of the Catholic Church at the Asian level. We have seen many initiatives from going green to plastic-less environment as a result of these initiatives. The Indian Church's response to Laudato Si and the celebration of Laudato Si year, the season of creation, etc., has resulted in the Catholic Church taking the Holy Father's concern and invitation very seriously. With a Commission for Ecology in place at the CCBI level, every effort is made in the dioceses to take simple and effective initiatives for the care and protection of our common home. Your response as a religious institute, the Montfort Brothers, engaged in education for poor youth after the example of your founder, St. Louis Montfort, in the early 18th century, the urgent call of Pope Francis to be proactive in the face of an ecological, environmental, and climate crisis is very praiseworthy. Thank you, dear brothers, for doing this. I was very impressed with what I heard from Brother Pratap and the others. So many steps have already been taken, and such a beautiful plan is in place. We have not only taken the issue of care for our common home seriously, but with conviction, initiated steps to put the Laudato Si goals into action. This is the only way out for the survival of our planet, and thank you for this lead you have given. St. Louis Montfort, a man of great vitality, indomitable courage, and spiritual strength, was a seeker after and the only treasure that mattered, divine wisdom. He was fascinated by the folly of the God who humbles himself so that human persons may be raised up. He was equally concerned about the human race, the most brilliant of God's creation. By giving himself up to the ways of wisdom, Montfort became a person transformed. In the process, he developed a pedagogy of acquiring true wisdom that not only guided his inner journey, but also the lives of all those he touched. The purpose of education, according to Montfort, is threefold. First, to learn, understand, and love God as true wisdom. Second, to understand and transform oneself into the way of wisdom. And third, to become committed to transform society in obedience to wisdom. These remain the purpose and goal of Montfortian education. The world today needs wisdom. We are very fortunate to have another Montfort of our times, Pope Francis, who is seeking and speaking about divine wisdom. It seems foolish that even in the face of red alert or code red warning from scientists regarding ecology and environment, many governments and people in general are still indifferent. Therefore, it is important to spend time on this wisdom, on what this wisdom means, as experienced by St. Louis Montfort during his time in the early 18th century AD and today in the early 21st century as envisioned by Pope Francis. The basic conviction ought to be God is our creator. Therefore, creation is sacred. In the Gospels, Jesus refers to birds of the air, lilies of the field, grass, etc., as created by God and therefore sacred and beautiful. On the 5th of October 2021, on the International Teachers' Day, we had organized a meeting of various religious leaders of major religions in the city of Calcutta, for which we have a forum already in place called United Interfaith Foundation. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss what different scriptures have to say about creation. All the religious leaders present expressed unanimously and convincingly what their scriptures say. One common theme: creation is sacred and we must take care of it. On this occasion, a booklet with quotations from different scriptures of creation was released. If we can spread this important and basic truth, wisdom wisdom will dawn on all, young and old, leading to caring for our common home. The second Montfortian principle of education is to understand and transform oneself into the way of wisdom. However, such transformation of oneself is possible only with humility. The encounter with divine wisdom and creation makes it possible to have such an encounter with wisdom. One has to accept that one's attitude towards nature, towards others, must change. This is another area where all of you engaged in education can train, especially young people, to be open to be transformed by creation. Organizing occasions for these students to experience the beauty of trees, flowers, animals, people, so that they can get transformed to the way of God. Wisdom looks at His creation. The third Montfortian pedagogical principle is to become committed to transform society in obedience to wisdom. We have the example in the history of persons who became instruments of transformation of society. I believe that in our time, just as Pope Francis, inspired by this wisdom and saints who transform society, such as St. Francis of Assisi, or Mahatma Gandhi, St. Teresa of Calcutta, or Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, or Swami Vivekananda, has become an instrument of transformation of society, so too the Montfortian family must become instruments of transformation of society today. Although much can be said as to how this Montfortian action for total sustainability can be achieved, I propose that ecological education, I repeat, that ecological education, namely ecological awareness and transformative action by offering educational opportunity to all, especially the poor, giving them qualitative education with all opportunities, education for peace, respect for human rights, ecological leadership, and creating a green school or college through ecological restoration activities be promoted. Efforts or even initiatives of individuals are not sufficient. As Brother Pratap said so beautifully, we must have mass movements, we must work together. Then only the synergy will be effective. The dream of one or a few should become the dream of multitudes. And for this, we have a whole school family together, the entire school involved in this. This is possible through good educational leadership and vision. Pope Francis often refers to a culture of waste. Serious and responsible steps need to be taken not to waste precious natural resources or food. We can manage with little. When this becomes our second nature, then the philosophy of the world, namely, the more I have, the more I want, will stop. This is an antidote to consumeristic philosophy of life. Our lifestyle will be simple. This earth is given not only to us in the present age, but is the property of the future generations too. We have a responsibility to share, a responsibility to save this precious planet of ours as a gift given to us by God, and to give it as a gift for the future generations. The use of renewable energy, which Brother Pratap already referred to, cutting on the number of vehicles perhaps, educating against consumerism, allowing all to be builders of peace and reconciliation, emphasizing on inclusiveness at all levels, and this peace and reconciliation above all with creation. These are the needs of the hour. In conclusion, I'm confident that such a serious and well-organized conference as this will put many minds and hearts together and make the Laudato Si action plan as proposed by Pope Francis a reality by evolving a concrete action plan for total sustainability. Let us do it now. Thank you.